This is KI0AR. Does anyone need to use the repeater systems before I begin this evening's Colorado Astronomy Net? Please go ahead now. Calling the Colorado Astronomy Net, calling the Colorado Astronomy Net. This is KI0AR. My name is Ernest, and I'll be your net control for this evening's Colorado Astronomy Net. Just a reminder, the 3-minute timeout function is still in effect, so during long transmissions, please allow the repeater systems to reset themselves. Also, please use the word break for emergency or priority traffic. If there is any emergency or priority traffic, please go ahead now. Okay, nothing heard. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. This net meets every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, 0100 Zulu on Wednesdays to discuss topics of an astronomical nature, what's up in the night skies for the week, any other special events that may be of interest to the amateur radio astronomy enthusiasts around the world. Also, this is one of the few nets where your check-in does count. I tally up the numbers and send them off to JPL at the end of each month. Counts as part of their outreach to the general public, of which we are a part. So all check-ins are definitely appreciated. I take check-ins several ways. I will take them over the air in just a few minutes, but if you have NetLogger, you're more than welcome to hop onto NetLogger, and I'll see your call sign pop up in the AIM window, and I'll get you logged in right away. I am also broadcasting on a YouTube this evening, so if you happen to have a YouTube, please sign in over there. And yeah, if your tag does not have your call sign in it, definitely post your call sign in the chat. If you do not have a call sign, that's fine. A first name and a location, and I'll get you on the list as well. I'm seeing a few check-ins over there as I speak here. And I'll go ahead and acknowledge those that I have already in just, why is that not working? Okay. There we go. All right, got a few over there on YouTube, so thanks for that. All right, for those of you who are new to the Colorado Astronomy Net, I'll definitely like to chat with you for sure when you check in. I take them via email. If you're out there just listening, you can send an email to ki0ar at ki0ar.com and just let me know that you're out there listening in. And also over the air. Right now I'm going to go ahead and acknowledge those that I already have. We got Jack, KE0VH. Thanks for checking in tonight. Paul, just a sec. Jack, if you're listening, there's some, yeah, okay. We got heads up. You are experiencing some sort. Yeah, some sort of digital stuttering. I flipped it over to analog and heard something in there. So I don't know what's going on. Please stand by. KE0VH. This is KI0AR calling. Please stand by. Let net control handle any communications. Over. This is KI0AR net control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Please let me handle the communications. This evening we are having some difficulty. I want to call KE0VH. KE0VH, this is KI0AR calling. Go ahead. For those of you who are over on YouTube, please stand by. We got some communications issues tonight. KE0VH, KE0VH, KE0VH. This is KI0AR, KI0AR calling.
KE0VH on 449-450.
KE0VH, same here, Jack. What's going on?
You said call you on analog, so here I am.
Okay, I don't know what kind of chatter is going on over on the digital, but it's all broken up, and the rest of them are hearing nothing but broken signals. And nobody will let me get a word in edgewise. So, as net control here, so I just wanted to give you a shout and figure out what's going on.
Yeah, at the moment, Bernice, I have no idea. I'm wondering. Let me see what happens again when we stand by. KE0VH, stand by.
Okay, you guys on YouTube heard it. Stand by, and we'll see what's going on. Jack, you were real broken that time too, even on analog.
Bernice, could you hear me on the digital then, KE0VH?
Negative. You were real broken up.
Okay, sure what's going on. We'll have to let the tech team know. I have no idea.
All right, Jack, I'm going to run it from the analog side. Hopefully, those of you who are on digital, I don't know what to tell you tonight, but hopefully we'll get you in. If you have YouTube, we're solid on YouTube. So definitely hop over there, the Colorado Astronomy Net over on YouTube. And I'll see you check in over there. That'll be fine. If you got NetLogger as well, you can make comments over there. But I'm going to press on over on 449-450 tonight on the analog side. So hopefully everybody can hear me. And apologies for the broken signals. Most of you heard all of that stuff before, so I'm not too worried about it, the intro there. And we're now pressing for time, so let's see. Where was I? Acknowledging those that had checked in for this evening. So let me get the other people checked in over there. I do think I have one new call sign on the list over on NetLogger, so I'll welcome in just a second. Let's see, Jack KE0VH, thanks for checking in tonight. Paul WA7GVL, thanks for checking in tonight. Randall AE7RJ, thanks for checking in tonight. John W2JLS, thanks for checking in tonight. Graham MM1DEA, thanks for checking in tonight. Mike KO5AOK, thanks for checking in tonight. Don W3WIN, welcome to the Colorado Astronomy Net, Don. Thanks for checking in tonight. I'm going to get back to you in just a sec. We got Bob KA8LYJ. Thanks for checking in tonight. And Mike KE2FTG. Thanks for checking in tonight. And we got We got Paul, ZL2BEZ. Thanks for checking in tonight. Good, we're getting some DX in there tonight, so welcome. Don, W3WIN, checking in via NetLogger. Welcome to the Colorado Astronomy Net. My name is Bernice. That's Bravo Uniform Romeo November Echo Sierra Sierra. And the call sign Kilowatt India 0 Alpha Romeo. Always like to touch base with my first time check-ins. Hopefully you will be able to contribute to the net. So we may have to do radio checks just to make sure people's signals are okay. Okay, signal is barely readable on All-Star. Okay, thanks for that, Don. Well, hopefully you can listen in. You may, if you can read this, please post over in the IM window there. I may be oversaturated with the nodes connecting. Could be. I'm not sure exactly what's going on tonight. We usually don't have, well, occasionally, but this seems like tonight is going to be difficult at best, unfortunately. I do maybe suggest, if you do have YouTube, you're certainly more than welcome to listen in to the net on YouTube. There's no distortion over there. But I like to touch base with my first time check-ins, find out what your interest background in is astronomy, and what your experience is, whether you're starting out or you've been doing astronomy for decades like I have. Don, if you want to post over there or you want to try over the air, that's fine. Please share with us what your interest background is in astronomy. Go ahead, Don. W3WIN. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Well, Don, unfortunately, your signal was broken up just like mine is. I don't know. We're having difficulties tonight, so I'm not exactly sure what to do. May go back to calling Jack, KE0VH, this is KI0AR, net control for the Colorado Astronomy Net.
Yeah, Bernice, I've got Skylar looking at it. It's indeterminate as to what it is. Evidently, it's been going on most of the day, and nobody caught it in just regular time. So not sure what else to do at this point. You can continue on analog. I don't hear any problem on the All-Star end of things to analog repeaters, so that seems to be fine. It's just the interaction between analog and digital and analog. So Skylar's looking into it. That's the best I can do for you. You can decide, I guess, what to do from here. KI0AR, KE0VH.
All right. All right, Jack. Yeah, I don't know exactly what's going on. Yeah, Don says, time for therapeutic reboots. Yeah, hopefully everybody copied what Jack just said. They've been experiencing some of this all day on the SkyHub Link system. You can check out skyhublink.com for more ways to check into the net via radio. Or you guys can continue on over on listening in on YouTube. I may have to pull that particular, maybe I'll just do that and pull the chat right over there. I can see what's going on, make it a little easier for me over here. Okay, Mile High Sparky, there we go. I'm hearing it fine on 447-100. Okay, there we go. KF0WXE, thanks for that. Let me get you guys checked in. Oh, this is going to be fun tonight. Okay, I can tell already. Hopefully you guys can listen in and and we'll press on. Like I said, we do have a recording of. We will have a recording of the net over on YouTube. I do save those recordings. So you're more than welcome to go back and listen to the nets afterwards. Don, I didn't want to leave you in the lurch, but again, welcome to the Colorado Astronomy Net. We got Tara, KF0YKI, over on YouTube, so thanks for that. That's a new call on the list, I do believe. It looks like a new call to the ham bands as well. So welcome to both the Colorado Astronomy Net and the ham bands. So to appreciate you checking in over there. And Danny, we got you on the list as well. KF0WXE, thanks for checking in tonight. Yeah, super clear on YouTube. So thanks for that. All right, so good to know. I just got to watch my timeouts. All right, so we might have an abbreviated Q&A session a little bit later on. Hopefully everybody can stick around. I do appreciate those that are listening in over on YouTube. So that is very cool. KB7ZZS, thanks for checking in tonight. We got you there. Let's see, I'm making some notes here. I'll go ahead and get into the announcements and get right into the local astronomical news, but I'm going to kind of press on. We've messed around for 20 minutes trying to figure out what's going on wrong with the the repeater systems this evening. I am on the 449.450 repeater tonight on the SkyHub Link system. All right, let me see if that one's okay. I'm just checking here. I got a database of call signs. Yeah, all right. Yeah, Mike, we got you on the list. KB7ZZS, thanks for checking in tonight. All right, Paul, listening on the All-Star node. All good on that node. Okay, that's cool. On the 46079 node. So, all right, you're good over on there. Thanks for that. All right. I publish a monthly astronomy newsletter via email on the World Wide Web. If you wish to subscribe to the email version of my newsletter, please send me an email to ki0ar@ki0ar.com and request to be put on the list. Or you may visit the website at www.ki0ar.com/astro.html. And at the top of the web page is also a spot where you may submit your email address and get subscribed to the email version of the newsletter as well. If you don't want to remember all that, just Google my call sign, KI0AR. You'll find a whole bunch of links, including links to the web page and the newsletter. All right. Where was I? Oh, I volunteer with a youth group called the International Association for Astronomical Studies, youth group that meets out in Strasburg, Colorado on Friday evenings from, well, now they're starting to show up at about 4:30 until 8 p.m. Always looking for new members, freshmen through senior high school age students interested in astronomy, amateur radio, high power rocketry, remote control aircraft flying, full scale aircraft construction, archaeoastronomy, radio astronomy, and balloon launch communications. More than welcome to visit our website at www.iaas.org for more information, or visit us on Facebook under the same name, the International Association for Astronomical Studies. The IAAS also has a call sign, K0AAS, so if you happen to hear that, be sure to give them a shout. Also, a reminder that the Colorado Astronomy Net also has a Facebook page, so if you have Facebook, be sure to hop on there and like us both. On Mondays and Wednesdays, please check out Jack's YouTube channel, Captain Jack Flight Sim, CAPNJACKFLTSIM. For his twice weekly flights at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Time till whenever he lands. Always interesting to ride along on these flights, get a cockpit view of the areas that he's flying over, and points in between, and a good chat by other flight simmers as well as amateur radio operators and just people that are interested in flying along with Jack on those flights. Again, Captain Jack Flight Sim. All right, this is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. I'm going to go ahead and get into the local astronomical news in just a sec. Okay, this marathon seems like it's turning into a sprint tonight. All right, I'm going to start off as usual with the phases of the moon. We had our last quarter moon back on the 5th. We had a new moon on the 12th. We got a first quarter moon coming up on the 19th. That's tomorrow. I got a full moon on the 28th. The moon was at perigee, its closest approach to the Earth, this month. Back on the 10th, it was 225,734 miles from Earth. The moon will be at apogee, its farthest point away from the Earth this month. On the 22nd, it will be 251,433 miles from Earth. Planetary highlights for August. Excuse me. Excuse me there. Planetary highlights for August. A partial lunar eclipse is visible across the U.S. this month, while a total solar eclipse occurred in Europe. That was over Iceland, Greenland, Iceland, and northern Spain. Venus dominates after sunset, reaching 50% illumination. Most planetary activity is after midnight as Saturn and Neptune rise in Pisces. The pre-dawn hours reveal a fine conjunction between Jupiter and Mercury. And Mars crosses into Gemini, while Western Taurus hosts Uranus. An excerpt is from Astronomy Magazine, August 2026, page 28, and that's without the ad-lib. On with the planets. We got Mercury, excuse me, was at greatest western elongation, or about 19 degrees west of the sun, back on the 2nd. That means it was as high as it was going to get on the eastern horizon in the morning hours on that day. Right now, it is now descending rapidly towards the eastern horizon. Mercury will be at superior conjunction on the 27th, meaning that it is behind the sun from us. Mercury is now rising about 5:30 a.m. this week. After conjunction, Mercury will return to the evening sky, setting about 7:49 p.m. by month's end. Actually, you won't see Mercury for the last week or so of the month. So if you do get up early, it's still going to be difficult to spot Mercury, but give it a shot. Mercury is visible in the eastern sky about 30 minutes before sunrise during the first 3 weeks of the month, then disappears into the morning and evening twilight glow for the rest of the month. Mercury moves from the constellation of Gemini into Leo, shining at magnitude 0.3 on the 1st. A quick tutorial on magnitudes. The magnitude scale is an inverse logarithmic scale, meaning that as the magnitudes increase, the relative brightness of an object decreases by a factor of about 2.5. The the dimmest object that the human eye can see is about 6th magnitude. So a magnitude 5 object is 2.5 times brighter than a magnitude 6 object, while a magnitude 7 object is 2.5 times dimmer. However, definitely point telescopes to these brighter objects as I go over them. For sure, you will definitely see some color and detail in these objects for sure. But you won't need binoculars or telescopes to see the brighter objects, but definitely avail yourself of them for sure. Venus will be at was at greatest eastern elongation, about 46 degrees above the western horizon on the 15th. That means it is as far east of the sun on that particular day, or as high as it's going to get towards the west. So it's kind of backwards with that. But Venus is setting about 9:30 p.m. this week. Look for Venus to the west about 30 minutes after sunset. Venus is in the constellation of Virgo, shining at magnitude -4.4. And definitely get those scopes out so you can see a what we would call a quarter Venus. You'll see a quarter Venus and a quarter moon tonight, tomorrow for sure. So it will, or half of it. I think you know what I mean. You'll just see half of it lit up. So it's interesting. Venus and Mercury will never, ever, ever be in full phase. They will always be in partial phase. And right now, Venus is at as you'll see as much of Venus as you ever will at this point. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Continuing, we got Mars. Mars is rising about 2 a.m. this week. Look for Mars to the southeast in the morning about 30 minutes before sunrise. Mars moves from the constellation of Taurus into Gemini, shining at magnitude 1.3. The only reason I say get up about 30 minutes before sunrise is when all of these things will be visible. However, you may want to get up a little earlier to see some of these, but at least give you a chance to see the things before the sun does rise and let you sleep in a little later. Jupiter is rising about 5 a.m. this week. Jupiter is visible during the last 2 weeks of the month to the east in the morning sky before sunrise. Jupiter is in the constellation of Cancer, shining at magnitude -1.8. So right now Jupiter is rising just a little bit over an hour before. So another one. Get about 30 minutes to get above that eastern horizon to spot Jupiter. We got Saturn is rising at about a little bit before 10 p.m. This week. Look for Saturn towards the east in the late evening after sunset. Saturn is in the constellation of Pisces, shining at magnitude 0.5. And we got Uranus. Uranus is rising about midnight this week. Look for Uranus to the south in the morning before sunrise. Uranus is in the constellation of Taurus, shining at magnitude 5.7. Okay, we got Neptune, and here's the break between visible planets and those that will require a telescope or binoculars. We got Neptune rising around 9:30 p.m. this week. Look for Neptune towards the east in the late evening sky after sunset. And Neptune is in the constellation of Pisces, shining at magnitude 7.7. For our dwarf planets, we have Ceres. Ceres rising about 2 a.m. This week. Ceres can be spotted low to the south in the morning sky before sunrise. Ceres moves from the constellation of Taurus into Gemini, shining at magnitude 8.9. So get up there, get it in the early morning before sunrise, an hour or so. That gives some of these dimmer planets a little chance to get higher in the sky where they're a little bit brighter and easier to spot. And we got Pluto. Pluto is rising about 7 p.m. in the evening this week. Pluto can be spotted to the south around midnight, definitely after the moon sets. Pluto is in the constellation of Capricornus, shining at magnitude 15.1. As always, good luck at spotting Neptune, Ceres, and Pluto. A large telescope and dark skies will be needed. Neptune you can easily see with an 8-inch scope. Pluto, 12 to 15-inch telescope, and lots of patience to spot that one. Ceres, an 8 to 10-inch scope. You may be able to spot that with a little bit more patience in dark skies for sure. Meteor showers. We are in the midst of a couple of meteor showers. 2 of them have just peaked. We had the northern Delta Aquarids meteor shower extends from July 16th through September 10th. Maximum occurred back on August 13th. The hourly rates reached a near a high of 10. So there may be a few of those stragglers around. We did have the Perseids meteor shower generally visible between July 23rd and August 22nd. The maximum occurs on August 12th, 13th. The hourly rate typically reaches 80, although some years have been as low as 4 and as high as 200. The meteors tend to be very fast, possess an average magnitude of 2.3, and leave persistent trains. Unfortunately, here in Denver, well, I had medical issues that I needed to take care of on both of those nights, on the 12th, 13th, and it was cloudy the morning of the 13th and 14th and 15th as well, and haven't gotten out there to see any of them, but I would love to hear those observation reports from those of you who may have gotten out to see some of the Perseids this past week. And wrapping up, comets. We got comet 10P Temple. Temple 2 is shining around 7th magnitude, passing through the constellations of Aquarius and Pisces Austrinus. Comet Temple 2 rises in the late evening and is best viewed around midnight. Temple 2 reached perihelion on the 2nd, making it easy to observe through binoculars or a small telescope. Look for outbursts a week or two after perihelion, so there may still be some outbursts with that, but it's going to be low towards the south for that one, and you may have to wait until, like I said, midnight. So after the moon sets, the moon is setting about just about 10:40 p.m. tonight. So anytime after that, you can start looking for these dimmer objects when that will not hinder your viewing of the dimmer objects. And that's it for the local astronomical news. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Okay, I'm just seeing who else is on here. We got Eric KR4AFB. Thanks for checking in over on YouTube, so thanks for that. I'm looking over on NetLogger. I don't see any other new check-ins over there just yet. I haven't taken any calls over the air. I'm almost scared to. Hopefully everybody is listening in tonight. K0BIT. Thanks for checking in over on YouTube tonight. Let's see. Craig, we got you on the list. Let's see. Is that a new call? I think it may be. Nope, you've checked in before, so thanks for that, Craig. Appreciate you checking in over on YouTube. Yeah, we've had some issues on Skyhub tonight. Let's see, Don, you're still out there. Check in for sure. All right. Yeah, let's see. Short answer, tried to say amateur radio. Okay, let's see. A lot of astrophotography. Good. Another astrophotographer checked in. So that's Don, W3WIN. And he's got his 11-inch Celestron. So cool with that. And yes, that is M13 in the background. One of my favorites. There you go. All right. Tara. I forgot to ask you, you're over on YouTube, but you said you also checked in. Tell us a little bit about your background interest in astronomy, KF0YKI. If you'd share with us what your interest background in astronomy, go ahead, please. Okay, KF0WRI, Mark. Why is that not showing up? Okay. That looks like it's a new call on the list, or it's in the database. It's coming up as new. So, Mark, welcome to the Colorado Astronomy Net. You're over on All Star, so thanks for that. Welcome to the net. My name is Bernice. That's Bravo Uniform Romeo November Echo Sierra Sierra. Appreciate you checking in tonight, and welcome. Tell us a little bit about your background interest in astronomy. Go ahead. All right. I do like to touch base with my first time check-ins and find out a little bit about your interest and background in astronomy there. We are definitely pressed for time, so quick call to see if I can get people checked in over the air. Anyone wishing to check into tonight's Colorado Astronomy Net, please call with your call sign phonetically twice. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. I'm going to go ahead and get into the bulletins for this evening. First off, I'd like to share this particular website with you, www.heavens-above.com. That's www.heavens-above.com. And I recommend this website for ISS passes. Plus a whole lot more. But one thing I like about this particular website is I have posted over on YouTube ISS passes over the Denver area. I do recommend you log in, and you can put in your home coordinates. If you look in the upper right corner, you can see that I'm logged in with my home coordinates there. And you get much more accurate timings, dates and timings for ISS passes over your local area. I'm looking for a good one. Here's a good one on the morning of August 20th. What I like to do is when I click on one of those particular dates, I can click on it and I get a nice large star chart of the ISS pass over my area. And I see that it kind of starts in the constellation of Pegasus, passes by Cassiopeia, and then heads towards the northeast. This is like 4:43 a.m. in the morning. Decent pass, nearly high overhead, fairly bright as well. But I can take this star chart out at 4:33 or 4:43 in the morning, and not and still be drowsy and not have to worry about if I drop it on the ground that it will break or get lost. It's nice and big. I can make annotations on it. I can take a look at it and see relative to where the stars are, where the ISS is going to pass over. Very convenient, nice. You can print that out on a nice 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper and take that outside with you, as opposed to looking at a little iPhone screen or something like that. Again, that website is www.heavens-above.com, www.heavens-above.com. And that's it for that bulletin. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Okay, hopefully I'm getting copied okay tonight. All right, Mike, thanks for checking in over on YouTube. We'll get you over there. Thanks for that. I'm just, okay. Just getting my notes taken care of. So thanks for posting. Yeah, definitely. If you don't have a call sign and you're over on YouTube, welcome as well. If you'd post your name and location over there, I'd appreciate it. And I can officially welcome you aboard the Colorado Astronomy Net. Do have a bulletin for you this evening. I'm going to kind of go rapid fire tonight. This is from Earth Sky. Give me 5 minutes and I'll give you Saturn. How to see Saturn. In mid-August 2026, Saturn is rising in the middle of the night. Watch for it around midnight. Ascending at the sunrise point in your sky. It'll look like a bright golden star. By dawn, Saturn will be at its highest in your sky. Saturn is the 6th planet outward from the sun and the farthest planet easily visible to the unaided eye. It's also the faintest of the bright planets. You need a telescope to see the planet's rings. But Saturn is also fun to watch with the eye alone. You'll find it shining with a steady light and a creamy golden color. Saturn takes about 30 years to orbit the sun, so it moves more slowly than the other bright planets in front of fixed stars. The ancient Assyrians called Saturn Lubad Sag Us, often translated as the oldest of the old sheep. It's easy to imagine why if you consider Saturn's slow movement in front of the stars. Because of its nearly 30-year orbit, it takes nearly 30 years to complete one journey across our sky, traveling through all the constellations of the zodiac. It really does seem to amble across the sky like an old sheep. Unlike the other bright planets, Saturn isn't showy to the eye alone. It's the hardest bright planet to recognize, but the moon is a handy tool. Look for Saturn near the moon on August 29th and 30th of 2026, and it'll be near the full moon again on September 27th. And every month it is visible. To find Saturn near the moon every month of the year, except when it is behind the sun. Visit Earth Sky's Night Sky Guide. Okay. Saturn, closest, brightest, and opposite the sun. The best time of year to see an outer planet like Saturn are the months around that planet's yearly opposition. That's when Earth is between the sun and the outer world. The planet appears opposite the sun in our sky, rising into view at a convenient hour for viewing. In 2026, Saturn will come to opposition on October 4th. So the months around October are best for viewing the planet this year. Because we're going between Saturn and the Sun, then October 4th will feature the ringed planet approximately at its closest to Earth. Because it's closest, it'll appear at its brightest in our sky. Saturn is the faintest of the bright planets. It's still pretty bright, but normally you wouldn't pick it out from among the stars. But around September, October, and November, you can view Saturn fairly easily because Saturn will appear as bright as the brightest stars. Since we pass Saturn, the sixth planet outward from the Sun, from an inside track around the Sun, the ringed planet will look as if it's going backward or retrograde for a time in front of the fixed stars of the zodiac. In 2026, Saturn retrogrades from July 27th until December 11th. That's when it moves westward in front of the stars, in contrast to its regular motion towards the east in front of the stars. When Saturn started its retrograde or westward movement in front of the backdrop stars of the zodiac on July 27th, it was among the stars of Aquarius, the water bearer. By the end of Saturn's retrograde on December 11th, it'll lie among the stars of Cetus, the whale. It'll remain in Cetus the rest of 2026. Saturn's yearly opposition happens about 2 weeks later with each passing year. The 2024 opposition happened on September 8th. The 2025 opposition happened on September 21st. And the 2026 opposition will be on October 4th. And next year, opposition for Saturn in 2027 will take place October 18th. So you see that Saturn, like most objects in the heavens, is really very orderly in its comings and goings in our sky. Once you learn to identify it, you can recognize it from year to year. But how can you recognize it? Like all planets, Saturn is lovely to gaze upon and think about. It's a real place, after all, not just a light in the sky. Plus, Saturn's brightness waxes and wanes in a subtle way throughout every year, making it fun to watch. But how can you recognize Saturn? The best way is to start with the nights when the moon will be passing near. To find out when this will be, you can visit Earth Sky's Night Sky Guide. But what if you can't wait for the moon? Here are some tips. Think about the path the sun travels across your sky. That path is called the ecliptic. On Earth sky charts, we nearly always represent that path by a green line. So wherever you are on Earth, look along the sun's path for Saturn. Look along that path for bright lights. Saturn may be the faintest of the bright planets, but it's as bright as the brightest stars. Notice the twinkling of the stars. Stars twinkle because they are so far away. Through earthly telescopes even, unless some special technique is being used, stars look like pinpoints. But Saturn is vastly closer than the stars. Through telescope, it looks like a golden ring-encircled disk. Light waves from one side of that disk cancel out light waves from the other side, so Saturn shines steadily. Watch for its golden color. Yes, Saturn appears golden to the eye, a golden steady light located along the sun's path across the sky. It's likely Saturn. You can see the rings of Saturn if you look with the eye alone. Can you see the rings of Saturn if you look with the eye alone? No. You need a small telescope, but Saturn is still beautiful to the eye once you learn to spot it. You'll find a great source of contentment in recognizing it year after year. Saturn from the southern hemisphere. From the northern hemisphere, the sun's path arcs across the southern sky. But from the southern hemisphere, you will look north rather than south to follow the sun and planets along the ecliptic. How high the sun's path appears to you depends on your latitude and on which part of the ecliptic you're looking toward. From Twizel, New Zealand, at about 44 degrees south latitude, different parts of the ecliptic can reach anywhere from about 23 degrees to nearly 70 degrees above the northern horizon as they cross the meridian. Farther north, from Auckland or much of Australia, parts of the ecliptic can climb higher still. As Saturn spends nearly 30 years moving around our sky, it gradually passes through sections of the ecliptic that appear higher or lower in our sky. At its 2026 opposition, Saturn will reach about 44 degrees high from Twizel, 51 degrees from Auckland, and 54 degrees from Sydney, comfortably above the horizon and offering good views through a telescope. So for much of the southern hemisphere, Saturn will be reasonably high enough above the northern horizon around its October 2026 opposition. It will rise around sunset in the east-northeast, climb across the northern sky, and culminate or reach its highest point due north around midnight before heading towards the west-northwest. Over the decades, Saturn's altitude at opposition gradually changes as it makes its long journey through the zodiac, a planetary cycle you can watch unfold over a lifetime. Where will Saturn be at the last few months of 2026? Saturn is nearly always somewhere in our sky for most of every year. In the second half of 2026, as the Earth moves away from Saturn in its orbit, we'll see Saturn shift its location in our evening sky, rising earlier each night. After Saturn's opposition in October 2026, Saturn will appear farther to the west as darkness falls each month thereafter. Finally, in March of 2027, Saturn will disappear in the western twilight after sunset. One last thing for you telescope users: the south side of Saturn's rings are facing the Earth's direction. They'll have a minus 7.5 degree tilt around opposition. Bottom line, we're now in the best month for viewing Saturn in 2026. It'll be at its best around October 4th, when it's closest to Earth and visible all night. And that's it for that bulletin. That is it for the bulletins for this evening. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Okay, that was kind of a long one. That was a little shorter than that. I'm going to go ahead and call on John, W2JLS, for tonight's astronomy history lesson. And John, if I could ask, I'll do a radio check with you and see how that sounds first, and then maybe try to keep it short, under 10 minutes if we can, and we can have some more room for the rocket report in there as well. So W2JLS, this is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net calling. You are coming in clearly. Initially, you broke up a couple of times, but 95% of it we caught.
Okay, well, very good, sir. I suspect that means we're good to take off with this one. I will acknowledge that I'm broadcasting from the Whiskey Kilo Yankee repeater here. Shouldn't say broadcasting, transmitting in Fairlawn, Ohio. Thank you to those folks here in our Sierra Club for letting me plug the repeater into the SkyHub Link network. Thank those folks for hosting your net. It's to join you like this with a headset from my local repeater. And also, I will try to keep it brief. So, also, a way to add is apparently going to be taking the rocket report after my This Week in Space and Astronomy History segment. So, with that, we'll get into it. Tonight's excursion into the past, I titled this one Above the Clouds and Into the Shadow. This is a tale of an eclipse, a hydrogen balloon, and essentially a familiar character, some of you, Dmitry Mendeleev. So last Wednesday, millions watched the moon's shadow cross the Arctic iceland, Spain, and beyond. NASA chased it with a high-altitude aircraft. Student teams launched scientific balloons to study what the sudden darkness did to the Earth's atmosphere. Remarkable stuff, really, and many excellent videos and images are circulating the internet. If you haven't seen anything, go take a look. There was some really great stuff. I saw a lot of neat stuff from Spain. But we've had some excellent opportunities as well here in recent years in the United States. So I'm wondering, for those of you that have gone through this, you recognize preparing for one isn't trivial, and the timing is really important. You don't want to miss it, right? Maybe some of you have even taken a destination vacation off to see totality, someplace exotic. I, for one, saw one in Charleston, South Carolina. I think it was 2017-ish, August, and that was amazing. I was out on a boat in Charleston Harbor, quite spectacular. And I know our Burnus KI0AR is starting to see next year's eclipse from Egypt. But imagine you go through all the trouble to prepare for such a thing, and you're awakened to rain, or you show up late, or you're looking for your camera, and you're inside trying to figure out if it's safe to use that lens. Yeah, it's just a lot that you could potentially miss. But anyway, tonight we're going to talk about an event that happened 139 years ago tomorrow, and we're going to take a look at one scientist's adventure and how this went for him. On the morning of August 19, 1887, thousands gathered in a wet field outside of Clean, Russia, that's someplace a little north of Moscow. Before then, swayed an enormous yellow-gray balloon named Ruski, or the Russian. Above it were clouds, and the moon was about to cover the sun. That day, a man approaching the basket was not just anyone. He was already one of chemistry's most mythic figures in his mid-50s, Dmitry Mendeleev, who was the man of the hour. As you'll recall from chemistry and history, Dmitry Mendeleev had become acclaimed for recognizing the underlying order among the chemical elements, discerning his periodic law and evolving the periodic table that we're all familiar with. And back then, you got to realize that we knew of some elements, but we didn't have any kind of organizational strategy for these things. And Mendeleev was in kind of putting that story together. Even elements that hadn't yet been discovered, kind of predicted, left holes behind. He predicted things like the properties of gallium, scandium, and germanium before those elements were even known to periodic table man. He investigated gases, solutions, petroleum, fuels, agriculture, ship design, and yes, the atmosphere. He would later help to establish Russia's modern system of weights and measures. Didn't really have boundaries. Again and again, this curiosity carried Mendeleev towards the sky, and weather, he argued, could not be understood from surface stations, so he had this ambition of measuring it in the freely moving ocean of air in the sky. He proposed 15 to 20 research ascents to the Russian government, and even designed a sealed high-altitude gondola, anticipating weather balloons of later ages. So this flight, that morning, 139 years ago, this flight was not an impulsive escape from the rain. Most people on the ground, there was nothing they could see. It was rainy that day. So Mendeleev was going to kind of broach the clouds and get up there. He had studied this stuff, though, for something like 12 years, preparing a better understanding of how to engage the sky in this fashion. The Russian government knew he was interested in this earlier that year. It kind of approached him and said, hey, we're going to give you a shot. Carry your instruments up there and have your look at the atmosphere. He was hoping from the air to sketch the corona, attempt spectroscopic observations, watch the moon's shadow across the clouds, and measure temperature and pressure, sort of like those kids were doing last week. I think at least the latter part of that, right? The balloon then became both an observatory and atmospheric laboratory if things went well. I can say for myself, having experienced a couple of eclipses here on Earth, I, like some of you, know how a lot of preparation could go into make sure you've got stuff ready, eye protection and the timing, and maybe you've got a telescope and you're going to set up a camera or what have you. So it's a big deal. But clearly none of us were doing it the way this guy was about to. It's going to spend a couple minutes here to talk about it. The risk came from the Lachamp Balloon Company in Paris, an enormous fabric gas bag coated with Gouda rubber, held about 22,000 cubic feet of hydrogen. And all of that, to top it off, you couldn't just call the gas company. These guys had to make the hydrogen from scratch on the ground. So you had soldiers pumping farm water into three mixing vats, dilute sulfuric acid enters, 5 copper generators packed with iron churnings, producing hydrogen and a byproduct of ferrous sulfate. The gas, they were feeding this through a large rubber hose into the balloon. One of the eyewitness observers had recorded that some of the soldiers working on this project were burned by the acid. Their clothes were eroded and such. It was quite a mess. They had started filling the balloon at 11 the previous morning. So this was a long, long time to fill this giant balloon. But for hour after hour, operations fought the weather, wind battered the balloon against the ground. So a lot of it was going in, was coming out. It created quite a situation. Drizzle, the rain and moisture in the air had wet the fabric the balloon was made of. Like imagine like a rubberized fabric. It was wet and heavy and added weight to the balloon, unwanted weight. So not until midnight did the roots began to fill as intended. Keep in mind this is like something like 6 the next morning. You're expecting to have to make your ascent. So the crew reportedly consumed nearly twice as much of the balloon's capacity in hydrogen just to get the thing filled. It was not a simple balloon launch. Like an improvised chemical plant sitting next to a balloon out in the rainy morning. So anyway, shortly before dawn, a webgram arrived. Around 6:25, they got the chance of clearing is in sight. So Mendeleev walked through the crowd in a broad hat and a long brown coat and hunting boots. His wife, Anna, had promised him that she would not watch the dangerous descent. As it turns out, she came anyway and hid amongst the spectators. Lieutenant Alexander Kovenko was a trained aeronaut who was to accompany Mendeleev, climbed into the basket with him, and they tested the valve cord 3 times. Keep in mind, this is a hydrogen balloon, not a hot air balloon, so this was a filled sealed balloon with hydrogen. So you needed to be able to get the hydrogen in, but ultimately to make your descent, you would need to be able to get it out. So that's what they were doing there, testing that valve cord. But when Mendeleev climbed in, they had the tools and instruments he was going to take there. They recognized very quickly that the balloon was not going to get off the ground with all of that weight. They released the retaining ropes, and they found that the system wasn't going to carry both of them. So Mendeleev turned to Pico and said, "Hey, I'm going to fly this one alone," and he asked him to step off. Kovenko stepped back, basket Mendeleev threw out some of his instruments and a stool and reduced the ballast to 2 sacks and asked for a knife. The second test showed the balloon would rise. He'd never piloted a free balloon, so this was a gutsy move, to say the least. They never intended to leave so late either. So here you are, it's like 6:38, the ropes were released, totality was due to start 2 minutes later at 6:40. So the risky balloon rose slowly into the rain. Mendeleev tried to pour out wet sand, but it had clumped inside a sack, dug it out with his hands, and within a minute the clouds swallowed the balloon. He'd gone up into the clouds, and observers below could no longer see him. So while he was climbing, the balloon slowly rotating, forcing Mendeleev to turn within the little basket to keep the sun in sight. Then, for about 10 to 20 seconds, the clouds opened up and he could see around the black moon what he described as a ring of pure silver color. This pure silver color, uneven at its outer edge, near the bottom, he thought he saw a red glow of prominence. He reached for it and to measure the corona. Before he could make the measurement, another cloud covered the sun. He kept staring towards the hidden eclipse. Then the clouds turned gold. Across the gray deck, he saw the moon's shadow moving like a vast, uneven wave. The return to daylight was almost instantaneous. At 6:55, more than 10 minutes after totality had ended, he made his first notebook entry. He recorded temperature and pressure and then wrote 3 arresting words. Of course, these were written in Russian, but he wrote, "It smells of gas." Now, pure hydrogen has no odor. He probably detected impurities in the fuel-generated hydrogen. Sulfurous vapors, maybe, or maybe it was the balloon's natural rubber, might have an odor. But one thing for sure, whatever the origin, I'm sure he was likely experiencing an unsettling feeling while sitting perched beneath more than 20,000 cubic feet of flammable hydrogen. During his descent, the Ruski is believed to have reached roughly 12,500 feet and drifted nearly 62 miles across the countryside. He then had to bring it down. Approaching woods, he held his hand against the basket rim, ready to lighten the balloon, and after clearing some trees, he opened the gas valve and called out to a farmer running below. He yelled, again in Russian, I presume, "Hold the rope and I'll wrap it around something." And the farmer seized the trailing rope and was reportedly lifted from his feet. The gentleman was able to secure it to a tree and fasten the balloon. By 9:20 that morning, Dmitry Mendeleev was safely back on Earth. Villagers came running from every direction. One man, struggling to describe what he had just seen, announced that a comet had landed. There was a man sitting on it. The observations were real. corona briefly, failed to measure it, and could not complete the spectral program. With characteristic honesty, he later wrote that the flight had added nothing to our knowledge of the corona. The flight nevertheless had produced some atmospheric observations, and it got some excitement charged up about meteorological ballooning, which did continue. Now, Ernest, I know you are a new novice to eclipses and astronomy for sure. And still, as you prepare for your Egypt trip next year, perhaps carry the lesson from Mendeleev's experience, and I'm sure you've got some of your own. I know for the couple of eclipses I've seen in the quality where I've got some stories about timing and such. But I hope you use the very best, and I hope that you're ready long before your shadow arrives. And remember that totality offers no pause or rewind. And if you're a few minutes late, the show might be over. So, with that, we'll shut this down here. It was a lot of fun to research this piece of history of the chemist. I learned in my use of Mendeleev from a purely chemistry-related context. This was kind of enriching to see him in a different light as a scientist and an adventurer, maybe a little crazy, beyond his revolutionary contribution of the periodic table. This guy clearly had a special brand of curiosity and adventure in him. It was fun to learn a little bit. I hope you enjoyed it as well. With that, this is W2JLS John for the Colorado Astronomy Net, wishing you clear skies and good evening on your ears. Now back to Furnace KI0AR at Mission Control.
All right, this is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Thanks for that, John. Yeah, some lessons learned and just several experiences on center line twice, and it poured down rain. The secret is take a large garbage bag so you can cover your equipment so it doesn't get wet, just in case. Let's see, 2 totals, 1 annular. Bunch of partials over the years. So, and looking forward to the one in Egypt. 6.5 minutes, nearly 6.5 minutes of totality. One of the longest for quite some time. So looking forward to that. It was like 4 minutes or so. With Ed and I over in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, only 2 minutes or so up in Wyoming. And the annular one out in Utah. But yeah, take time to look at the sun in totality. Don't be fiddling around with your camera gear. Let the cameras do, record it on, let the video record it. Turn it on or have something automatic on the camera, but you definitely have to enjoy the event with the naked eye, for sure. So you really don't need all that camera equipment. It detracts a lot unless you're really doing the scientific studies with it, for sure. And there's all sorts of things you can do during eclipses. All right. So thanks for that, John. I'm going to call on Ed, W6RDZ. Hopefully we can get through the rocket report tonight and then the Q&A a little bit later on. W6RDZ, good evening to you, Ed. Are you ready for the rocket report? Go ahead.
Good evening, Ernest, and good evening to everyone on the net. This is Rocket Man Ed, W6RDZ, ready to rocket and roll with the rocket report for today. All right, we're going to look back a week to the 11th and forward to the 25th. I'm going to just
You're doing fine, Ed. No problems. I don't know what was going on earlier, but it seems like that has cleared up. I haven't switched it back over to digital yet, but um, please go ahead. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net.
All right, Burns, that's great news. Good that all the digital folks can hear us too. Hope it's all fixed up. All right, I'm just gonna launch in with the launches. Tuesday, August 11th, right after the net at 22:46 Mountain Daylight Time. SpaceX launched Starlink Group 17-49 from Slick 4E Vandenberg Space Force Base, California. Another batch of 24 Starlink high-speed internet satellites went to constellation and low Earth orbit. It was SpaceX's 695th successful mission. That brings us to the second launch on Saturday, August 15th at 1912 Mountain Daylight Time. SpaceX launched Global Star 2-R Mission 1 on a Falcon 9 departing Slick 40 Cape Canaveral, Florida. The Global Star Global Mobile Communication Network offers global, digital, and fax via constellation of many satellites operating in 1,410-kilometer orbit. Third launch, SpaceX set another record. Just 38 minutes later than the previous launch there that was heading out of Cape Canaveral on the same Saturday. At 1950, SpaceX successfully launched the U.S. Space Force -366 mission on a Falcon 9 rocket launching from Slick 4E Vandenberg Space. Reset the repeater there. W6RDZ back with the rocket report for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Yeah, that's just 38-minute gap. One launch off the East Coast, the second off the West Coast. Between Falcon 9 launches is a new record. It surpasses the old record by 27 minutes. USSF-366 is a classified mission for the U.S. Space Force, possibly another batch of SpaceX Starshield military communication satellites going to low Earth orbit. It was booster B-1088 18th trip to space and back. That brings us to our fourth launch on Saturday, August 15th at 22:10 Mountain Daylight Time. China Aerospace and Science Corporation, CASIC, they launched SatNet LEO Group 24 atop a Long March 12 rocket departing LC-2 at Wenchang Space Launch Center. 9 more satellites join the Chinese communications constellation. Sunday, August 16th at 21:02, China launched the Satellite for Earth Observation, or SEO, for the United Arab Emirates. They launched that on a Long March 12 rocket from Taiwan Satellite Launch Center, China. The single payload was delivered to sun-synchronous orbit. And this just in, about 2.5 hours ago, well, maybe 2 now, China, we'll reset the repeater there. W6RDZ back with tonight's rocket report for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Yeah, 3 hours ago, China successfully landed its first booster on land. They landed one August 18th at 17:35 Mountain Daylight Time, China's land space successfully launched Flight 2 of Land Space's new ZQ-3 rocket, and they landed it at the landing site. ZQ-3 is a Falcon 9-inspired first-stage booster reusable medium-lift launch vehicle. The ZQ-3's maiden flight took place back on December 2nd of 2025, and the payload successfully reached orbit, but the first-stage booster crashed near the landing site. So this is a big one for China. They're getting their Falcon 9s here. All right, that brings us to next week's launches, for which there are also 6. Tonight, August 18th at 21 Mountain Standard Time. Mountain Daylight Time. Expect SpaceX to launch Starlink Group 17-50 from Slick 4E at Vandenberg Space Force Base, California. Second launch coming up Thursday, August 20th at 0919 Mountain Daylight Time. Look for SpaceX to launch Starlink Group 10-39 on a Falcon 9 departing Slick 40 Cape Canaveral. And then on Saturday, August 22nd at daylight time, we need to reset our repeater. All right, again on Saturday, 1:25 in the morning, SpaceX is scheduled to launch Starlink Group 15-20 from Vandenberg Space Force Base, California. Fourth launch Sunday, August 23rd at 1800 Mountain Daylight Time. Expect China's Kasich to launch the Chang'e 7 lunar lander mission on a Long March 5 rocket from LC-101 at the Wenchang Space Launch Site. This lunar mission includes the launch of an orbiter, a lander, a mini hopping probe, and a rover. The mission will land in the South Pole region of the moon, exploring and looking for ice and water. This should be the 200th orbital launch of 2026. Then on Monday, August 24th, at 23:49 Mountain Daylight Time, SpaceX is on the docket to launch Starlink Group 1049 from Slick 40 Cape Canaveral. And rounding it out, Tuesday, August 25th at 03:42 Mountain Daylight Time, SpaceX is planning to launch Starlink Group 15-22 from Vandenberg Space Force Base, California. All right, that brings us up to this week's space news. Again, many of these are recapped from the following 2 weeks. Number one, there's been very little news this week on the recovery of Starship 40. The recovery crews appear to have towed Ship 40 near shore at Christmas Island, that's between Malaysia and waters. And W6RDZ, we're going to reset the repeaters. W6RDZ, back with the rocket report. First news item, we're talking about Ship 40 still being afloat after landing in the Indian Ocean. So they made it over to Christmas Island into calmer waters near shore. SpaceX engineers are now analyzing the vehicle in calmer waters before attempting to return it to Starbase. All right, second, this is an update on the Swift Boost mission. We reported they stopped the spinning last week, and Dave updated us, that's KF0KF, that they downloaded software. So we're just recapping that. Catalyst Space successfully uploaded a flight software updated for its Link spacecraft, which reestablished control over the rescue booster. Swift is a doomed gamma-ray orbital telescope which will re-enter the Earth's atmosphere soon, if not Catalyst reports the Catalyst team successfully uploaded a flight software update with new attitude controllers, which incorporated the remaining actuators in an updated control scheme to boost NASA's Neil Swift Observatory to a higher orbit. The software updates new attitude control algorithm link stability using the spacecraft's remaining actuators. Reset. W6RDZ back with the rocket report talking about the Swift boost mission. The spin has been canceled and they now have regained control. We expect the updated configuration to support rendezvous operations in the next phase of the mission. Attempt to capture and boost NASA's Neil Swift Observatory. Catalyst is now focused on performing a series of burns and maneuvers to adjust Link's orbit relative to Swift over the coming days. Adapting to changing conditions is necessary due to the accelerated timeline for the mission. We are moving carefully and deliberately, assessing Link's performance at each phase. The team's work over the last several days has positioned Link to continue its approach to Swift for the next phase of the mission. That's great news for that plucky little mission. Really, that's one of my favorite missions ongoing right now. So we'll watch that one closely. All right, that brings us to the third item, Starship 14 update. Preparations are well underway for the launch of Starship Flight 14 at Starbase, Texas. Word on the pad is the launch will slip into next month. Flight 14 will be the first orbital flight of Starship and the first tower catch of a ship. The word is that SpaceX will also attempt to catch the booster back at Starbase 2. That on the same pad 2, that the ship will land on later. Excitement is guaranteed. Repeater? W6RDZ back with the Colorado Astronomy Net rocket report. Fourth item on our news list, ISS spacewalk, EVA 97, NASA astronaut Neil Menon and European Space Agency astronaut Sophia Adnock went outside the ISS this morning and, to coin a ham phrase, climbed the tower. That to replace the space-to-ground antenna on the orbital complex. The antenna is a critical communication system NASA uses to transmit high-speed data communications between Mission Control Center in Houston and the Space Center. This is Sophia's first spacewalk and is the first spacewalk
Colorado Astronomy Net's rocket report. This is W6RDZ, Rocket Man Ed, wishing you a good night and nominal flight. Now, back to Starman Burgess, KI0AR, Capcom Mission Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net.
Okay, thanks for that, Ed. Yeah, we're running a little late tonight, but definitely appreciate you passing along all of that information tonight. So appreciate that. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Let's see. I'll go ahead and pause here to see if there are any more check-ins. I didn't see any more check-ins over on YouTube or. Let's see over on, yeah, we do have one over on NetLogger. We got Mark KC8FQV. Thanks for checking in tonight, Mark. Anybody else wishing to check into tonight's Colorado Astronomy Net, please call with your call sign phonetically twice.
November X-ray 1 Victor. November X-ray 1 Victor.
Kilo 7 Mike Lima India. Kilo 7 Mike Lima India.
Kilo Juliet 7 Quebec Golf Foxtrot. Kilo Juliet 7, Quebec Golf Foxtrot.
I'll give you an RF check. I didn't hear you, I think, mention my name, KCAFTV, Mark in Ohio. Aurora, Ohio, that would be.
November 6th, Quebec Delta Yankee. November 6th, Quebec Delta Yankee. David in Eldorado Hills, Iowa.
WEAM, Whiskey Echo 8 Mike, give it out.
Okay, we got, yeah, Mark, I got you on the list, KC8FQV. Thanks for checking in tonight. Marcus, KF0ZMV. Thanks for checking in tonight. That's a new call, so welcome to the Colorado Astronomy Net. I'm going to get back with you in just a sec. We got Jeff, NX1V. In Durango. Thanks for checking in tonight, Jeff. You're also a new call on the list, so thanks for that. I'll get back with you in just a sec, too. Vic, K7MLI, thanks for checking in tonight. Susan, KJ7QGF, thanks for checking in tonight. David in California, N6QDY, another new call on the list, so thanks for that. I'll get you back with you in just a sec. David, WE8M, thanks for checking in tonight. New calls. I always like to touch base with my new call signs on the list and find out a little bit about your background interest in astronomy while I have you here. We got a long list tonight, and I'm going to have to rapid fire talking to everybody. You've caught the tail end of the Colorado Astronomy Net. We start at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. on Tuesday evenings, but hopefully you've been listening in, and I do appreciate you waiting. We had some technical difficulties to start off earlier, but what I like to do, introduce myself. My name is Bernice. That's Bravo, Uniform, Romeo, November, Echo, Sierra, Sierra, the call sign Kilowatt, India, Zero, Alpha, Romeo. I've been doing the net for 30 years, a little over. So we've got quite a following here. We've got all levels of experience, those that are just starting out, those who've been doing it for decades or even longer than I have, different interests, different talents as well, from those that are just learning to those that could teach me a few tricks or two, for sure. Marcus, welcome to the net, KF0ZMV. If you could tell us a little bit about your background interest in astronomy, please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Bert. I've just been listening for a while. This is the first time I've been able to join because I just got my technician license this week, so I'm excited to be on the air. And I'm just generally interested in all things science. I'm especially astrophysics and astronomy, anything to do with that. So just lots of general interest. I'm one of those guys that has a lot of hobbies, and this is a few all wrapped into one, which I love. So I really appreciate being that, and I enjoy listening. KF0 CB.
Okay, Marcus, welcome to the net. Appreciate that. Yeah, we're all in learning mode, and I learn something new every time I give the net, and I've been doing that for 30 years, so there you go. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, exactly. And that's one reason I started the net, was to combine my love of astronomy along with amateur radio and share that with everybody else, and it seems to work. We got some astrophotographers, so we throw in some photography and camera work, and just you got several hobbies there. Computers, you can go hog wild with some of the computer analysis and citizen science stuff with astronomy as well. So talk a little bit about that, not much, but a little bit every now and then. But again, welcome. Same question to you, Jeff, NX1V. Welcome to the Colorado Astronomy Net. Tell us a little bit about your background interest in astronomy. Go ahead.
That key up wasn't me, that was someone else. This is NX1V, Jeff. Let's see. In the past, I have hosted the star parties at Mesa Verde National Park, Chimney Rock National Monument, 2 years at the Durango Nature Center, 3 years before that, before any of those things, informally as a club in Durango. We've gone up and done star parties at Andrews Lake, which is up at 11,000 feet near Silverton. The Durango Astronomical Society is my Facebook group with 600 members. I run mostly knobs before I have a Ryan 10-inch and a 12-inch, and Omni 6-inch Cassegrain. I have done astrophotography, but only through camera lens, tracked but not guided, just mechanical trackers, which work pretty well up to about 60 seconds if I get them all aligned. So larger objects, M31, cities, that kind of thing, nothing smaller than that. I love the hobby, but I kind of burned out on it a couple of years ago when this last New moon cycle, my scope was sitting there looking at me, and I looked back at it. I didn't take it out this past weekend. I wish I had.
All right, Jeff, fine business. This sounds like I could learn a thing or two from you for sure. Yeah, well, I used to volunteer with the museum, and we'd have star parties down there for years, and yeah, I can understand sometimes the burnout. I was not in shape to to go out this weekend. Unfortunately, I was recovered from procedure on Thursday, and you know, I don't know why people do do drugs, because fentanyl and Dilaudid left my head fuzzy for like 3 days. But yeah, I just don't understand that. But anyway, yeah, neat that you got out to under some dark sky areas for sure. Yeah, that makes me jealous. All right. But definitely welcome to the net for sure, and your experience and expertise would be appreciated here on the net, I'm sure. So again, welcome. The other new call, David in California, N6QDY. Good evening to you, David. Welcome to the Colorado Astronomy Net. Tell us a little bit about your interest, background in astronomy. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm on my evening walk, so I might lose the repeater. I live in El Dorado Hills, but my mailing address is Sacramento, California. So just, no, nothing specific. Everything's superficial. I'm looking forward to learning. I think anything that I've done before is basically visited the Lick Observatory up in Mount Hamilton, and then hearing a lot about starlings going up into the air. And I've yet to see the string of pearls. I'm looking forward to that. And I don't know if it's something that I'll see over here. I'm currently in Folsom, California walking, but I'll be making my way back to El Dorado Hills. But anyway, nothing specific. Enjoy listening. I'm just hooking up the repeater to this regularly. So that's about it. Back to net control and 6QD live, and I'll be monitoring.
All right, David. Welcome. Let's see. Oops, lost my pictures. Welcome to the net. Do appreciate you checking in tonight, and thanks for letting us tag along on your walk with you tonight. You may want to check out this particular website, heavens-above.com, and they do have some of the Starlink Pass information on that website. I have seen a couple of those trains going across the skies. One was totally accidental. It was on my evening walk several years ago. And my buddy and I saw that going across the skies, and we figured that's exactly what it was. I've seen a couple of others as well, but you may want to check that out and see when they will be observable over your particular area. But again, welcome to the net. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Right now, I'm still recovering from my, all I can say is anybody that's older than me or younger than me, hydrate, hydrate, and hydrate. Kidney stones are no fun. I had several of them removed Thursday. I'm doing fine, recovering well. Finally got over the fuzzy head from the painkillers, but definitely stay healthy, stay hydrated, and take care of yourself that way as well. Getting old is not for the faint of heart, to say the least. We are so close to the top of the hour. We got a long list. I do appreciate everybody. We had about 20 minutes of technical difficulties at the beginning with our digital side. It was dropping in and out. It seemed to have settled down, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the net for anybody with, I'm just going to open it up to everybody all at once. So be patient. Don't all shout at once if you've got a comment. That'll make it a little easier on me. So any last minute questions, comments, anything you'd like to pass along to the net, now's the time to do it. Just a sec, let me let this thing reset. All right, we did have a question posed by Craig, K0BIT over on YouTube. Let's see, I asked for questions earlier. And he asked he just got a new 10-inch Dobsonian made by a club in Huntsville, and he was not sure how to clean it inside out. And my answer, well, the short answer was carefully. And yeah, he looked at the objects. It's dirty. Probably go inside the tube. You know, with the Swiffers, those Swiffer things will suck up dust and cobwebs pretty quickly. That's probably the best way to do the inside. Be careful. You've got to take out the main optics and clean them with mild soap. You know, Dawn detergent, a mild soap. Use your fingers very, very lightly over that mirror or over the lenses. And then distilled water, very important to use distilled water to rinse that off. That way you're not leaving any of the chemicals that are in the current tap water or anything like that, mineral water. You don't want any spots or anything like that. And then dab it off very gently with pure cotton balls. There's YouTube videos on that. As well, and then remember how you took it apart. You got to put it back just the other way, and then you've got to learn how to recollimate the mirror and the lenses. All available YouTube videos on doing that. We could spend a whole evening talking about that, and I'm sure we'd have quite a few people helping out with that as well. So hopefully that will get you started there, Craig, and appreciate the question over there on YouTube. Let's see. Okay, Steve, we got you on the list. Let me get you there. Okay. My cursor's going crazy. All right, there we go. Oh, let's see. I think, David, I got you. WE8M. Moy, N5ZIQ, thanks for checking in tonight. Steve, KM6VAY, thanks for checking in tonight as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just flat out open up the net for anybody else. Questions, comments, late check-ins. If you are a late check-in, please call with your call sign phonetically twice. Anybody else? Questions, comments, late check-ins, please call now.
Alpha Foxtrot 0, Alpha Sierra, Dave, late check-in. Kilo 2, Indian November Golf, New Jersey, late check-in.
Okay, nice double. I got alphabet soup with that. I did catch New Jersey. New Jersey station. If you come back with your call, I'd appreciate it. Go ahead.
Kilo 2, India, November, Golf, K2, ING, Pat from New Jersey. Just checking in late.
Okay, other station, Pat, welcome to the Colorado Astronomy Net. I'm going to come back to you in just a sec. K2ING, thanks for checking in tonight. Other station that doubled with Pat, if you could call again with your call sign and go ahead.
Kilo Charlie 8 Golf Whiskey KC8GW, late check-in. Thanks for being here. Okay.
All right, Greg, we got you on the list. KC8GW, thanks for checking in tonight. Pat, my name is Bernice. That's Bravo Uniform Romeo November Echo Sierra Sierra. Call sign Kilowatt India 0 Alpha Romeo. You've caught the tail end of the Colorado Astronomy Net. We meet at 7 p.m. Mountain Time on Tuesday evenings on the SkyHub Link system of repeaters. So I do appreciate, and you're probably checking through All-Star or Echo Link or who knows, a repeater out there that's connected up to our system. So I do appreciate that. I always like to touch base with my new time check-ins, find out what your interest, background in astronomy is, whether you're just starting out, you've been doing it for decades, or somewhere in between. Please share with us, Pat. K2ING, go ahead.
Well, glad to be here. I'm going to make it a regular now on Tuesday nights. I can tell you that much. Ironically, I'm actually checking in. Yes, I'm on All-Star, but I'm checking in through an Alaska repeater. So that's it. I landed in Colorado, going through an Alaska repeater. But yeah, obviously the hobby's good. I got a general license. I worked on that for the last 3 months. Went from technician to general as quick as I could. And part of a bunch of clubs out here, working it. And enjoying the hobby as best as I can. I got 30 years in the IBEW as an electrician, communications worker, facing that retirement. And just glad to have this going. Thanks again, and I definitely will be on more in Tuesday nights. K2ING.
All right, Pat, again, welcome to the Colorado Astronomy Net. I'm also on YouTube, so I've got a whole bunch of broadcasts on YouTube that you can check out. Been doing that for a year now, SkyHub Link for over 3, and on the air for over 30. We had some technical difficulties earlier this evening, so we're running kind of late. I'm going to make one more call. I do appreciate everybody hanging around that can. Go ahead and make one more call. Anybody that's got any questions, comments, or late check-ins, please call KI0AR now. All right, Dave. Yeah, apologies. I got you on the list. AF0AS. Thanks for checking in tonight. All right. I do apologize that I'm not going down to talk with every single person tonight. Running late, and I am beat. Just a reminder. This net meets every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. That's 0100 Zulu on Wednesdays. All right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the net. I do appreciate everybody sticking around. I do appreciate everybody checking in over on All-Star earlier and hanging around. and working through the difficulties. This is amateur radio. This is an extremely complicated system that we've got worked up through SkyHub here, so that we can get New Jersey going to Alaska, coming back to Colorado. Links like that, links to New Zealand and Scotland and all the way around the world. So I do appreciate that. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the net for this evening. I'd like to thank the 30 check-ins for checking in tonight. Hopefully we'll hear from everybody next Tuesday night for another session of the Colorado Astronomy Net at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. I'd like to thank the Rocky Mountain Radio League for the use of their repeater system. We're operating on that tonight, so thanks for that for sure as our backup system. I'd like to thank the SkyHub Link group for all of their links and system and on their support that they provide to the Colorado Astronomy Net. Please check out skyhublink.com, skyhublink.com for more information and for other nets that are hosted on our system as well. With that, I will say 73 and keep looking up. This is KI0AR. I'm clear.